I'm Matt with eTrailer, and today we're talking about the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4 bike rack on the back of our 2022 Chevrolet Express van. Now this is going to be a great option if you are hauling a lot of people and maybe some of them are riding on bikes. You're going to have the ability to store them somewhere and get them from point A to point B. So let's check it out. The first thing I want to point out is how close our bike does sit to the back of our van. Now we typically have our bike on the closest cradle, but today we got on the second closest one. And that's because our handlebar is actually making contact when we do have it on the closest cradle, and I don't recommend driving with it like that. Now if you do have a different bike with smaller handlebars or a road bike with drop handlebars, then it might fit, but the one we have today isn't. This is also going to have a weight capacity of 35 pounds per bike, so unfortunately we won't be able to accommodate our really heavy e-bikes too. Since this is an entry-level carrier, we're actually not going to have a tilt-away feature, so you won't be able to access the back. So if you want to access the back, you're going to have to take off your bike. Let's start off with that. I like to remove these straps. You're going to have one per tire, and they're just going to remove just like that. You do the same on the back half. Now something else that's going to make this entry level too is we're going to have this frame mount that's connecting to the center. And since we're making frame contact, I wouldn't recommend using any alternative or carbon frame bikes with this. When you have it to this stage, all I have to do is lift up on the bike, take it off, and then I can take it for a ride. With your bikes off, I recommend putting this center mass down so it's out of your way. I like to start off with loosening up this wing nut with this metal hook. I like to move it out of my way now, and then push this on either side and make sure it's flush. And when I push it down, I like to make sure I get one of these other straps to wrap around it so it holds it really snug and tight, because you don't want to worry about this bouncing around when you're driving. And secure these other straps too. But with this down, I can open up my doors. Now, this passenger side one only opens up about this far. So if you only need to grab something small, and if you're going to have that ability. Now opening up the driver's side one, we noticed we were able to open this all the way up, all the way open, if you had that mass on the other side. We're going to get some measurements now. The first one I like to get is our ground clearance. So going from the ground to the bottom of the carrier that's furthest out, it's going to be 21 inches, which is actually pretty good. Now if you have this loaded up with some bikes, it's going to probably drop down a bit, but not to the point where you need to worry about it. The next measurement I want to get is going to be the distance from our back bumper to the back of the carrier, which is going to be about 39 inches, which sticks out a little bit too, especially with this being a larger vehicle. I'd definitely be more cautious if in any tight spots like a parking spot or garage. Now if you want to save on some space, you can. We come over here, you'll notice I have this knob, and if I loosen this up, I can remove it and fold the whole rack up. And now just make sure you line those holes back up and pull that knob back through here. And that measurement I'm going to get now is only going to be about 12 inches. So that's going to save you a lot of space. As for how it's going to interact back here, it's not going to block a whole lot. You're still going to be able to see out of your backup camera, and you're still going to be able to see your license plates. Now it's going to be partially obstructed, but it's definitely still going to be usable, and you'll still be able to see out of it. As for your taillights and back window, those won't be obstructed at all. Overall, this is going to be a solid option for you if maybe you're transporting people or if you're taking your family out and a couple of them ride bikes. This is going to be a great way to transport those bikes. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to be able to carry a little bit more bikes, then I'd recommend the Yakima Full Tilt Bike Rack. It's going to have the capacity to haul 5 bikes, but it's going to be a hanging style. So your bikes won't be as secure as they are with here, since we have 3 tie-down points to it. That's just a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4 bike rack on the back of a 2022 Chevrolet Express van.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.